This video corresponds to Kittel and Hoffer, Introduction to Biblical Hebrew, Lesson 51. Today we're focusing on geminate verbs. So here's our sentence for this lesson. Va-nasav et har se'ir yamim rabim. Va-nasa et har se'ir yamim rabim. Okay, now let's translate the words as they are highlighted in red. Here we have a construct chain, et har se'ir, which means Mount Seir, and it's the direct object of the sentence, as the et indicates. Yamim, simply days. Don't confuse yamim with a comets with yamim with a patak and a doubled mem, which means seas. So this is days, and then rabim means many. So something, Mount Seir, many days. That leaves us with our verb, va-na-sav. We can start to parse the verb. The most obvious place to start is with special features. Here we have our vav, patak, double, and so that indicates a vav conversive. And of course, once we know it's a vav conversive, we also know that it's prefix, and the prefix is this nun. So prefix, one common plural. Now, if we were to try to look at the root, we might think that this is a middle weak, suv, but there is another possibility, and so we need to look now at geminate roots. The geminate root is a root that has the same second and third root letter. That is, they are twin roots, like the Gemini. There are a number of geminate roots that occur in Biblical Hebrew, the most important of which are here, and it's worth just memorizing these. It will make your life easier in the long run. The first is halal. Halal means to praise. The second is ravav. Ravav means to become great. Notice that this is related to the adjective rav, or rava, which means great or large. Hamam, to make a noise. Chamam, to become warm. Shadad, to lay waste or destroy. Palal, to pray. Tamam, to be complete. Ranan, to give a ringing cry. This is normally a shout of war. Arar, to curse. Zarar, to be hostile. Halal, to profane. Ra'ah, to be evil. Notice this is familiar to us from the noun and adjective ra or ra'ah, meaning evil. Chanan, which means to show favor. Shamam, which means to be desolate. Madad, which means to measure. So here you see a collection of geminate roots with the second and third root radical always twin, and memorizing these will help, because recognizing geminates can be somewhat difficult, as you will see. Okay, so let's look at the cal affix of the geminate. For our geminate root, we'll use savav. This is the cal affix, masculine singular, third masculine singular. This looks just like a regular cal. We have the comets and the patach, similar, or the same as pakad. So savav means he surrounded, or he went around. The feminine singular is savava. It looks just like the cal of a strong root, except for this composite shva. So savava. Now, the second masculine singular, sabota. notice that our vowel has reduced and we've doubled our bet. We also have a holum, a vav, inserted into the root. This actually looks quite a bit like a hifil of a middle weak root, except it doesn't have the hay on the beginning. But we've seen this pattern before. The other thing that happens is we lose our dagesh in our affix. So sabota. The dagesh in the bet there is indicating the doubling of the bet. So because there's two bets, that's just indicating the both of them. So sabota, sabot, saboti. So those three are just on analogy with the second masculine singular. When we move to the plural, we get savavu in both the masculine and feminine third plural. Then sabotem, saboten, sabonu. So this is fairly straightforward in terms of recognizing the geminate affix forms. Okay, the prefix. Here you'll see that I've labeled prefix 1 because there are actually two different ways of forming the cal prefix of the third of the geminate. The first one looks like this, yasov. Here you have a commas under the prefix and then an O class vowel. This looks similar to a middle weak, yakum, except that normally we would expect in the middle weak we would see a full vowel there. So yasov, then tasov, tasov, then the second feminine singular, tasobi. Here you have the gemination of that third root radical. This only happens in the forms that have a prefix complement. So tasov only expresses one bait, but tasobi expresses both of them. And then asov. Now in the plural, we'll see more doubled bets. Yasobu, here's doubled. Tesubena. Notice the infix yod here as well as the doubled bet, and a shurek, u-class. Tasobu, tesubena, nasov. So this is one way of forming the cal prefix of a geminate root. The other way of forming the cal prefix of the geminate root looks like this, yisob. Here we have the hirek under the prefix, looks like a regular cal of a strong root. Notice here we have a gemination or a doubling of the samech rather than of the bet. So this the doubling in this second form of the cal prefix happens to not to the geminate radical but to the first radical, yisob. Then we can just work through the rest of the paradigm. Tisov, tisov, tisavi. Notice the radical still, the first root radical is still doubled, but the vet remains undoubled, even though we have a prefix complement. Tisavi, esov. Then yisavu, tisovna, tisavu, tisovna, nisov. So this is cal prefix 2 of the geminate root. Alright, other cal forms to know. First is the imperative. The imperative forms from the cal prefix 1. So we just drop the prefix. So tasov becomes sov, sobi, sobu, subena. Those are just prefix forms with their prefix dropped. So these are the imperatives of geminates. The participle, sovave, can be written fully as it is here or defectively. Infinitive construct is sov, and the infinitive absolute savov. So that is the cal of geminates. We can also look at geminates in the equivalent of the PL, although geminate roots do not have PL forms. Instead, they use one of two alternates, which we've encountered in our readings. The polale, which looks like this, sovave, polale, sovave, or in the prefix yesovave. Notice that the cal affix sovave, the polale affix sovave looks exactly like the cal participle. The other form is the pilpale, which here we'll look at the root kalal, which means to be light. So the pilpale is kilkale. Notice how these all sound just like their stem. So the name of the pilpale, when you put actual root to it, becomes kilkale. The name of the polale, when you put a root to it, becomes sovave. So the affix is kilkale and the prefix yakalkale. We can also look at the Hifil of geminates. Here we'll just look at a few forms. This chart is also in Kittel and Hoffer. The affix form in the Hifil of Savav is he-save, and the second masculine singular ha-si-bo-ta. Note that these two forms look quite similar to the Hifil affix of middle week. The major difference being the dagesh in the bet, indicating gemination in the second masculine singular form. Prefix masculine singular yasev and masculine plural yasebu. Again, these look quite similar to the middle week of the Hifil, and again clearly distinguished in the plural with dagesh in the bet. In the imperative singular hasev, this is formed off of the prefix. The imperative masculine plural hasebu. The participle mesev, and feminine participle mesiba. Infinitive construct he-save. Infinitive absolute he-save. We also find geminate roots in the nifal, so we'll do the same chart, this time in the nifal. The affix, third masculine singular, nasav, second masculine singular, nesabota. Prefix form, yisav. There you see the infixed nun of the preformative in the samech, yisav, and the plural yisabu. Imperative, hisab, masculine plural, hisabu, participle nasav, nesaba, infinitive construct hisab, and hisob, the infinitive absolute. Alright, so now we can return to our form here, vanasav. We've already identified this as a prefix vav conversa of one common plural. Now we are able to recognize this root as savav, which is geminate, and the stem simply as cal. So this then means, and we went around, or it could mean we surrounded. Savav indicates something circular or round, and so the exact translation is a matter of some interpretation. So now we can put it all together. Va nasav et har seir yamim rabim means something like, and we went around Mount Seir for many days, or we encircled Mount Seir for many days. Alright, very nice work. There is a lot to learn with geminates, but essentially what you need to be able to do is distinguish when you have a geminate root. The tricks for doing that are things like look for the doubling of the root radical in the forms where it doubles, and also memorize those geminate roots. If you see something that looks geminate that's not one of those roots, then you may need to look it up. But if you see something that looks geminate that is one of those roots, then probably you have identified it correctly. So learn the roots and and practice recognizing the geminate forms. All right, we'll see you next time.